Hello and welcome back to our third Q&A. I want to say a big thank you for everyone who submitted questions in the last episodes, and thank you for all the questions submitted in this episode. I'm going to try and always keep it around 10, so I will reduce it down and pass on the questions that overlap that into the next one, so don't forget to get your questions in. Best way to do it, either leave it a comment in the comment section of the video, email us info@KibleWatches, and make sure you just put this is for the Q&A so I know it's for the video, or on Instagram, which is where most of the questions come from. When we do our Q&A box in the stories, you can submit them there. Now, before we dive in, let's take a quick look at what's on my wrist, and I am going to be doing a video probably about this watch because I happen to have two. It's my latest piece to the personal collection, a Cartier Santos Galbi mid-size. The reference is 2319. It's the automatic 29mm, so really gorgeous piece, and I am very, very happy to say this is now the latest piece to my collection. It was actually a grail for 2021, and we've got a question about that, so we can jump into that in a few moments. But yeah, expect a video of this, you'll see it soon. So let's dive into the first question. It's from Toby Zorner, and apologies if I'm butchering all your names with this. He says, "Hey guys, in February I'm turning 21, happy birthday in February, and I want to buy a watch for that occasion. I have something about $2,000 to $2,500 to spend, which is about £1,500 to £2,000. What would you recommend taking a look at? I thought about a Tudor Prince Oyster Date or the Fratello Oris Pointer Date." So I'll put pictures of those on the screen. For your information, I have a 7-inch wrist. I'm wearing everything from about 34 to 42 mil, so good range there. The first thing I'd say is obviously always buy what you like. You know, look at all the different watches on the market and narrow it down to what you like. What you've chosen there are two polar opposite watches. They are very, very different. They couldn't be further from different, I think. Well, I guess they could be, but they're very different. So my point is, definitely narrow it down. So take a look at these items, make sure you know what you like. It shows you quite eclectic, which is how I am as well. You know, I collect everything from 30mm Midos all the way up to, you know, Cartiers and Omegas and different things. But yeah, narrow it down to what you like. And I would say, between those two, if it was to be my opinion, I'd say the Tudor Prince Oyster Date has a higher chance of increasing in value. And again, it shouldn't be about value, but I know some people are going to ask, and it will probably be your follow-up question. Tudor Prince Oyster Date has been a steady increase in value, and it's likely it's going to continue that way. Oris is a tough one. Now, this is a Fratello Pointer Date. I think it's a limited edition. So there is a chance it could increase in value, but not so much. So if that's important to you, you know, value retention, if you're looking to hopefully wear and enjoy this for the rest of your life, then forget that. But if you are someone who's maybe going to be in and out of watches, you're very spontaneous, you buy a watch, you get bored and you want to sell it, it's something to think about. You know, what are you going to lose least on? So my advice would probably be the Tudor Prince Oyster Date. Also, I'm a little bit biased. I absolutely love Oris, but the Tudor Prince is a gorgeous watch, so I'd recommend that. Be careful with those. Make sure you get the dial right, and make sure if you prefer it on the bracelet, try and get it with a bracelet because you can always put it on a strap anyway. Question number 2, and it's I think one we've had before, but the original Iriot. Sorry if I absolutely butchered that. If you could have any watch, what would it be? So it's like the Grail watch question. So I'll put it on screen again. It'll be the AP Royal Oak 15202 ST in blue. Quite a cliche, or the Cartier Tank Cintre, or Cintre, however you pronounce it. Vintage, probably platinum on a bracelet. So there you go. Next question is from my dad at Kibsnick. He says, "What timepiece in your collection would you take to a deserted island and why?" I'm avoiding deserted islands, believe it or not, Dad. I mean, it might come as a shock to you, but I don't intend on going to one. But if I had to, I would not take any of my collection because it would not last long at all. I don't think many of my watches are even waterproof. So to be honest, I'd probably take like one of those solar powered G-Shocks with like hopefully a security alarm thing that can trigger, and then I could be saved off the deserted island. There you go. So the next question is from Lujo Watches. Thank you very much for the question. She asks, best affordable blue dial watch. Tough one. I mean, it depends on what your budget is, but the one I'd actually recommend highly, and one I love and would love to add to the personal collection at some point, I say that about every watch I think, but the Oris Aquis. Specifically, there's a blue GMT, I'll put it on. I think it's the Coral Reef edition. Could be wrong, they have a lot of limited editions, but any Oris Aquis that's in blue, I think they all look stunning, so I would go for that. Question 5 is from Felix, and for those of you who missed it, I'll leave a link in the description. I was on the Young Horologist podcast recently, so go check it out. We discussed some hot topics, and apparently it was very informative, so go check it out and let us know what you think. But he asks, new Grail for 2021, as you've already got yours. So yes, the Cartier was a Grail for this year. To be honest, I thought it would probably be more towards the end of the year I got it, but the right one came up at the right price in January, obviously now, so I had to take it. But to be honest, I'm very happy with how my collection is. I don't really have anything I actually I'm like desperate to try and add. But there's a couple of things that if like the business just goes insanely well and there's an opportunity for it, I would like to add is the Yachtmaster 16622. Absolutely love that watch with the platinum bezel, the sort of goldy, dusty dial. It looks amazing. Or one that I've wanted for a very long time, and it's very unlikely I'll ever find one, especially this year, is a Daniel Roth small seconds salmon dial. Stunning example. And Daniel Roth, a brand that most people have never even heard of. And I would love to have one of those in the collection at some point. So the next question's from the Fat Sailor. Thank you very much for the question. He says, what would you like to do if you couldn't be a watch dealer? Brilliant question, really, really good question. And something in the early days I used to think about a lot in case this didn't work out. Thankfully it's going all right now, so I don't have to think about it as much. But to be honest, if I couldn't be a watch dealer, I think I'd have probably gone into some sort of marketing. You know, I really enjoy that side of business. I think it's one of the areas I'm quite strong at in business. I'm not very good at the financials. I'm not very good at the rest of the stuff, bookkeeping, no chance. But marketing, I enjoy, and I think I'm pretty good at it. So I would have probably gone into a small business and helped that side of their business grow. And I would have probably have done that for as many businesses as I could have. The next question is from Romain Dormian. The question is, favourite watch that has come out since the start of 2020? I'm not too sure if you mean 2020 or 2021, so just in case, 2021. My favourite watch so far this year has to be the new Speedmaster. I think it's brilliant, and if we're even going back into 2020, it would still be the Speedmaster, because I feel like they've absolutely nailed it with the new design. I think the new movement, it all just makes sense. The new bracelet, the new clasp, everything makes sense. I think Speedmaster did very, very well. And all the people complaining about the £500 price increase, I think they just need to shut up, really, because it's 4,000 to 4,500 now. And it's like, it's still far more affordable than the rest of the competition and the history and heritage it has. And the fact that they can still usually be had with a little bit of discount from retail, I think it's good. And the next question is from Alan Harborn. Apologies if I butchered the name. He asked, what skills do you have now that you'd wish you'd gained earlier? Really, really good question. I think the most useful skill I've gained over probably the past year is patience. So I've always been very good at being patient, understanding what I want to get and what I want to build is going to take time. But early days, it was much more like where I want to be next month, or even like 3 months later. And that's very short-term thinking. Whereas now I'm planning for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, really long-term plans, which most people, thank you laptop, most people can't think that far ahead, to be honest. So I'd probably say that. I'd probably say that's my biggest skill that I have now that I wish I had earlier, because if I had it earlier, I probably would have positioned things slightly different. Definitely thought about the long term more. Question 9 from Watch Funjar. He says, Theo and Harris are giving away a Rolex. When are you doing it? Never. Right now, no plans to ever give away a Rolex. I think it's cool that they're doing it, and it makes a huge amount of sense marketing wise. I mean, the amount of new customers and people they're going to be bringing in because of this giveaway, it makes sense like that. I just think it's a move that a lot of people do, and I have seen many people do it where I'm not saying Theo and Harris are doing it this way, I think they're doing it right, but there's many people out there who do these giveaways and really it doesn't actually get given away. It goes to someone they know, or it's gone to someone who's actually paid for it. You know, it's a bit of dodgy marketing sometimes, so I am going to stay clear of that. So sorry, no free Rolexes from us. And the final question from, I don't know how to pronounce your name, so it's on screen over here. What is the difference between a watch flipper and an actual dealer like you? Really good question, something I actually get asked a lot. So the main differences are, I would say personally, and it's going to vary from person to person you talk to. A watch flipper is usually someone, and often it is Rolex, who buys watches at retail and flips them for a small profit to other people, to mostly dealers. So I have a few flippers on my books who buy watches and flip them to me at a lower cost or whatever it may be, and I make a little bit of profit. They make profit, everyone's happy. What an actual dealer does is often they're buying a wide variety of stock. Not always, but usually a wider variety of stock. They also do it full time. I would say before going full time into this, I wasn't a proper dealer. I wouldn't have called myself a flipper. It was more an aspiring dealer. Now I'm a full-time dealer. So I think being full-time is what makes you a dealer as well. And also the fact we're a proper business. We pay tax, we pay VAT. You know, we actually have to pay the legal side of things, whereas a flipper doesn't. So it sort of goes down on capital gains. You know, it's that same kind of thing with coins and stuff like that, because I used to do a lot with coins, silver and gold coins. It's the very same market. So they're the differences. I don't know if that made any sense or if I just rambled, but a proper watch dealer, full-time, pays the legal taxes and VAT on the things they sell, and it's an official business, usually with warranty. watch flipper, someone who just buys a lot of watches and sells a lot of watches because they change their mind a lot. It's not a full-time business, it's just something they do and they maybe earn a bit of money. Hope that explains it. So that is all the questions. Thank you very much for asking them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and don't forget to submit your questions for the next Q&A. I'm really enjoying these and some of the questions are coming in really, really good. So thank you. And we'll see you all again next time.